At the age of 21, I was in a maximum security prison called Elmira Correctional Facility. I just came out the weight shack from working out, and I saw an older gentleman that I knew standing in the middle of the yard, just looking up at the sky. Mind you, this older gentleman was serving a 33 and a third to life sentence, in which he already had served 20 years of that sentence. So I walked up to him and I said, "OG, what's going on, man? You good?" He looked at me, he said, "Yeah, I'm good, young blood." I was like, "So what you looking up at the sky for, man? What's so fascinating up there?" He said, "You look up and you tell me what you see." At that time, it was a plane passing by. I said, "All right, I see an airplane." He said, "Exactly. And what's on that airplane?" "People." "Exactly. Now where's that plane and those people going?" "That plane with those people are going somewhere while we're here stuck. The big picture is this. That plane with those people going somewhere, that's life passing us by while we're behind these walls, stuck." Ever since that day, that sparked something in my mind that made me know I had to make a change.
This is Ismael Nazario, a man who has faced prison time as a young adult but has now turned his life around and continues to make a positive contribution to society. Many other prisoners find themselves stuck in a cycle of prisoner re-entry similar to Ismael and struggle to find a way out. In a study that looked at prisoner re-entry in over 40 states, more than 40% of offenders returned to state prison within 3 years of their release. To find an explanation for this high re-entry stat, we researched some of the biggest obstacles ex-prisoners face when released.
Many ex-prisoners are only given a mediocre amount of money to re-enter society. Depending on your state, this can be $100 in a change of clothes, like in Minnesota, but can also be as low as $10 in a measly bus ticket, like in Alabama. For example, Glenn Ford, an ex-prisoner who served 30 years due to a false conviction of murder, was only given a mere $20 upon leaving prison.
We found that 2 in 5 prisoners and jail inmates lack a high school diploma or its equivalent. This leaves ex-prisoners severely disadvantaged when looking for a job. A large 3-state recidivism study found that less than half of released prisoners had secured a job upon their return to the community. But we also found that prisoners who participate in job training and educational programs are less likely to return to prison after release.
Michael Mirsky landed a temporary job rolling stacks of crated milk and orange juice at a commercial dairy in central New Jersey. He's not making much, but after 30 months of unemployment, he counts himself lucky. Mr. Mirsky is a convicted criminal and work is hard to find. 2 years ago, Mr. Mirsky was found guilty of resisting arrest and lost his job as a Verizon technician. He is now facing the foreclosure of his home. His church has told him that he cannot serve as an usher. He has thousands of dollars behind on child support payments for his 8-year-old daughter. And even as the community improves, Mr. Mirsky has been unable to find a permanent position so he can start rebuilding his life. It does not seem fair that ex-felons have such a hard time finding jobs or fitting in with society in general. They have served their time and could have changed tremendously since the time of their felony. This is also true for Bilal Chapman, who shared his thoughts with John Oliver.
I guess I'm more worried about being judged for what I used to be. I'm not that same person. You know, I've dedicated myself, I've changed myself. I'm no longer that person, you know. As time goes on, you become, you know, I become a better person. I've worked really hard at the things that I've taken from society, and so yeah.
So what are the concerns though? That what they will think or how they might behave? What is the spectrum of circumstances that you're concerned about?
I guess people are judgmental, people that don't know. You know, I don't want anybody to look at me as the ex-con. I want them to look at me as the person I am now.
Even finding a place to live can be tough with so many public housing complexes that ban ex-felons from living with family members. In the case of Geraldine Miller, who is a mother of an ex-felon, her son was caught helping her with groceries while she was sick at home and faced eviction because of it.
A little-known provision allows families to stay by banning arrested relatives from visiting public housing ever again. Geraldine Miller signed the ban after her son robbed a bodega at 16.
Had I known what I know today, I would have never signed that paper.
Miller herself now faces eviction after her son was caught helping her with groceries after she became ill. She has to go to her brother's apartment to see her son.
Parole fees are another harsh duty for ex-prisoners to deal with. In Minnesota, there are laws in place that exclude people from payment who cannot afford it, but in other states, including Pennsylvania, there is a necessary $60 fee just to enter the program, with an additional $45 a month fee, which some people are unable to pay for, including Randall M.
You go to see your parole officer and you don't have money, they will hold you.
Job or no job. And if you don't pay, you come back to jail.
Yeah.
I know one thing, I found myself selling drugs to pay back Pennsylvania.
With all this in mind, we came up with a proposition that could help released prisoners first stay out of jail, but more importantly, start a new life. Our proposition would be that businesses would not ask whether or not the applicant is an ex-felon until they have met in person and have looked over the applicant's resume. This allows the applicant the opportunity to show the interviewer that they are not who they used to be and they are a trustworthy potential employee. We acknowledge that the interviewers may still have a distrust for the person after finding out that they committed a felony, but this would at least give the applicant the ability to meet the employer face to face to show them who they truly are.
Some of the men that have had in my Bible study in the jail have been released, and I have volunteered as a mentor for them. And I've had 2 men so far in my experience, both with very different experiences. One is doing fine, and the other one actually relapsed and is now back in jail. Three that are at the top of the list are, one is for them to have a very distinct change of heart and resolve before they're released, to make a new way of life. The second one would be for them to have a new community to be a part of, for them not just to go out into the same community that then set of friends that they were in before, but have a new community to welcome them that's going to be healthy and lead them in the right direction and away from their old lifestyle. The third and the most important one that research has shown makes the most difference is to have a specific mentor, a mentor that will help them, coach them into new goals for their life skills, and someone to be accountable to for the choices that they make, and really someone just to be a good, healthy friend and to introduce them to other healthy people. Well, I guess overall it would be to ask for greater cooperation between government agencies, the judicial system, and the law enforcement, for a greater cooperation between government agencies and private organizations such as churches, synagogues, drug treatment programs that have good success rates, to work together more in a community effort and provide more resources for men to make the changes that some of them really want to make.